He's a Philly sports fan through and through, and the co-writer and director of the movie The Boss that you should go see in a theater near you when it hits it starting tomorrow on this weekend. He is Ben Falcone. Good to see you, Ben.
Good to see you.
You bet. So let's start with the Philly sports scene, if we may.
Sure.
Okay.
Must we?
Well,
okay, we shall.
Well,
we must.
Do you root for Villanova because of their presence there?
I lightly root for Villanova. My dad is the one who informed me that I had to root for all things Philly, or get out. Or out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what, do you have a college rooting interest?
Well, I went to University of Illinois, so I would root for them.
Okay. You're a Big Ten guy.
A Big Ten guy, yeah.
Okay.
Big Ten guy.
All right.
But I do, LaSalle, Villanova, Temple.
Yeah.
I'll kind of root for all of them, even though apparently in Philly they don't. You're one or the other of.
You can't just be a Big Five guy?
No, I don't think so. I think, yeah.
Okay, so now the Sixers have been stinking up the joint.
Sure.
And the general manager decides to resign with a 13-page resignation letter.
Yeah.
Now, you as a writer, a scribe, an actor, a director, do you respect a 13-page resignation letter, or do you look at it slightly askance?
Well, I say make it a paragraph or go big. Go like 500 pages. Write a book.
A tome.
A tome. And apparently he was like quoting, a lot of different people. So I guess it's like how much of this is what you feel. I guess even I haven't read the whole thing yet, but I want to see what did he actually say versus who was he quoting.
He was quoting Warren Buffett a few times. Do you have the list of people who he quoted?
I wish he was quoting Jimmy Buffett.
He quoted a guy by the name of Atul Gawande, who was a surgeon and writer, Warren Buffett, Abraham Lincoln, Charlie Munger, Elon Musk, Bill Belichick, and 5 other names you haven't heard, but like a psychologist, a physicist, just random people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Belichick and Abraham Lincoln all in the same...
It fits.
Resignation letter or booklet, pamphlet.
Yeah, kind of a pamphlet.
Yeah, that's the Philly scene for you right there,
yeah,
man.
I mean...
in a nutshell, I think.
I don't know what to make of it, really. I mean, it's... I know that they've been accused of tanking and, they want to acquire all these assets and everything, and it just seems... Like, why would you leave right when it seems like you're getting what you want?
Unless you're being forced the hell out of there right now.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what.
Yeah, and
really
the guy who's coming in, I think, is the son of the guy who's in charge.
Ooh, Brian.
Little Brian Colangelo, son of Jerry.
I want to go by that.
I'm just sort of giving
son of Steve.
I'm sort of giving you the Game of Thrones way to look at it right now.
I love it.
From House Colangelo, young Brian is coming in wielding the axe. I've got Ben Falcone here on the Rich Eisen show. So you work with your wife, you direct your wife, you write with your wife, Melissa McCarthy. What in the world is that like for you, Matt?
It's really fun. I mean, she's one of the funniest people I know, and we've been working. We met writing, 16 years ago, and we've kind of kept it going, and now we're lucky enough to get to make movies together. So it's super grateful. And people are always like, "Oh, do you guys fight and all that stuff?" I'm like, not really. Like, we're too busy trying to pitch jokes.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That helps. And we just showed a clip for the radio audience. We just showed a clip where she says a few not safe for work things to children in a schoolroom setting. And we were just, as you heard, having a conversation with Tatum O'Neal about the Bad News Bears and how that was sort of groundbreaking with kids and movies and things of that nature.
One of my favorite movies, too. I mean, growing up with that movie. And, there's some similarities with this movie and that movie, which is that, you get sort of an offbeat mentor who really has a good message, but a different way of going about it, just like Walter Matthau did, right? Like, and Michelle Darnell, on her worst day, I want to have a couple beers with Michelle Darnell.
Who your wife plays in this film.
And also... I want to have a couple beers with my wife too, but so it's interesting to me that but some of the stuff we're doing today, she says language and stuff in front of these kids, and if you really think about the Bad News Bears, some of the stuff he was doing back then was pretty risque. Like he'd have a couple pops and drive around with the kids, and I don't know if you could get away with that anymore. I think people would be pretty aghast.
What would the movie be rated? Because it was PG in 1976, and there's Buttermaker really popping open some beers.
Yeah, right.
Trying to get a kid to drink it, trying to get a kid, in the car while he's driving around drinking a beer.
Yeah, I think we're listing towards R.
Yeah,
for sure.
For sure, right?
I think so.
It's a different era.
Yeah.
Now that we live in with that one. What's your favorite sports movie? Do you have one?
Let's see. I mean, Caddyshack is pretty great, right?
I agree with you.
Really funny.
Right. To this day, still, too. Right? Would
Yeah.
you-
No, absolutely. I just watched it recently. It's
Ted
so
Knight
funny.
is a comedic genius.
Absolutely.
Ted Knight,
Yeah.
Rodney Dangerfield, Chevy Chase,
Yeah. Bill Murray.
Bill Murray as Carl Spackler.
Yeah. Ooh, nice. You got his whole name.
Oh, come on, man.
Now, I just heard you say that Rocky's not a sports movie. It's a love story?
It is a love story. Yes, sir. I know, and I'm talking to someone from
between
Philadelphia.
him and Burgess Meredith, or him and Natalia Shire?
and not, no, well, you could say that Rocky and Burgess Meredith, you know.
Well, I mean, because that to me, it's the mentor. I mean, and
The mentor.
and the trainee.
Yes,
and
they
the father
loved
he
each
never
other.
had type of vibe.
Right, but him and Adrian.
Yeah,
That's why he
Adrian.
was fighting. That's why he was continuing to fight. And it was definitely not him. And, you know, it's definitely not him and, you know, a raw egg. That's not the love story,
No,
I don't think.
no, not
you know?
him and just punching meat.
No. By the way, that was my friends and I did like a community access comedy show in high school. And don't even go and look for it, guys. There's one tape for it, and I have it in my house. And that was the name of the show, was The Meat That Rocky Punched.
Oh, that's great.
That was the name of the show. The Meat
wow.
That Rocky
So
Punched.
the group or the show you did? What was the
We
name
didn't
of
have
that
a group. It was the name of the show, where it was just all sorts of skits that we would put together for Staten Island Community Access.
Oh, my God.
And I don't know why we just loved calling it The Meat That Rocky Punched.
I love it. I
Yeah.
wish you'd show that tape.
It's not good for me. It doesn't work very well for me.
Right.
I'm here with Ben Falcone here on the Rich Eisen Show. Okay, so you also were acting. You were in Bridesmaids
Yeah.
with your wife.
Yep.
You played the
Air Marshal
air
John.
marshal, but you couldn't say you were an air marshal in that
Right.
scene. What was shooting that movie like? It looked like you guys were having a blast.
That was a
in
blast. You know,
film.
the stuff on the plane was my first day there. So it was fun
Okay.
that, you know, and a bunch of the people on the plane I knew. Obviously, Melissa I'm married to, but like I've known Kristen for a long time, and Maya Rudolph, and Wendy McClendon, and you know, Annie Mumolo back there. So it was sort of like a group of friends getting together, and Paul Feig I'd worked with before. So it was just a really loose, kind of great atmosphere, something I've kind of tried to replicate when I shoot movies.
And then you were in Enough Said
Yeah.
with Julia Louis-Dreyfus
Yeah.
and James Gandolfini, and that
Yes.
turned out to be his last
Yeah.
film. What was that like, working with Gandolfini in a
Amazing.
film?
That guy is so. He was such a nice man.
Yeah, it's
and
tough to refer to him in the past tense.
Yeah, it is, and it's still sort of. I'm still sort of shocked when I hear that he's gone. But yeah, no, he was a super nice person, and just obviously a tremendous actor. So like, I was sitting at, you know, it was me at a table, and it's me and Toni Collette and Julia and Jim, and like I was like, how did I wind up at this table? There's a clear weak link
Yeah.
at this table. So I was just like, if I just shut up, maybe they won't cut me out of this movie.
Right.
Yeah.
And you got through it
I got through it. I
very
made it
well.
through.
Gandolfini was a huge Jet fan. He would go to Jet
Oh,
games
really?
all the time.
Really?
Big time Jet fan. And you're an Eagles fan?
I'm an Eagles fan.
So
yeah.
again, you're from Illinois, and your dad
Yep.
made sure that you had to be Philadelphia about
because
everything?
he was from Philly, and he was like, "We are Phillies fans. We
That
love
was
all
it.
Philly sports."
End of story.
Yep.
Okay, so you're an Eagles guy?
Eagles guy, yeah.
So were you pleased that Chip Kelly was shown the gate, or
well,
what?
here's the thing. I'm not one of those fans who's like, "Hooray, that person got fired." Like I don't.
But
you know,
that sounds like a Philly thing. Right? Am I wrong?
No, well, I mean, I think all fans, like, it's like, you know,
Sure.
you're the reason, fire,
Yeah.
if you're gone, everything's perfect.
Yeah.
So I'm not somebody I'm a more, I go step by step, but it seemed like, I don't know, it didn't seem like Chip Kelly was having that much fun there either, did
No.
it? Maybe he'll have a fun start with his new team.
in San Francisco,
Yeah.
where people normally drink smoothies instead of the players.
Right.
You know,
so maybe all that
Maybe that can
nutrition
work a
stuff
little
will
bit
play
better.
there.
Right.
And it seems like the new guy seems like a nice guy, Peterson, right? He seems like a good guy. I mean,
He does.
the thing is, like, I don't know. Like, I watch games and I have theories like, if they bring the safeties up, like,
Yeah,
but
right.
I don't know. Like, you know, I think you have to wait and see how it all like works out. It seems like a coach should be able to manage players really well, though, and
Yeah.
hopefully, you know, I was never in favor of Andy Reid leaving. Honestly, I always liked him. I loved his mustache. He was a fun guy. It's starting out everything with like a injury report. Unfortunately, number 53 got hurt today. You know, it was like,
And then the time's yours.
Yeah.
Time's yours. Then
I
you just
loved
sit
him.
there and just, yeah.
yeah,
I know. Well, I think the new guy, Doug Peterson, is Andy Reid, you know,
Yeah, right.
part two.
right. I mean,
Strips.
yeah. So I'm hopeful.
If Andy Reid had a womb, he would have come from. A sports
Maybe
womb.
he sprung
A sports
forth
womb.
from Andy Reid's mustache.
By the way,
fully
just
born,
just
fully
giving
grown.
you. I always like to leave people in a better way than I found them. Which, in your case, you're riding high. Maybe the sports womb. That could be another film for you and your wife to do.
Oh, that's nice.
We can workshop it.
Yeah. Okay. We'll do me and you and the meats of.
And the Meet That Rocky
the
Punch.
Meet That Rocky Punch.
Yeah. What is the poll question currently at Rich Eisen show? You threw it out there. Is Rocky a sports movie or a love story? What does that currently stand, Chris Brockman?
It was 82% say a sports movie.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
So I'm in the minority. The way you're looking at me, Ben, makes it look like I'm in the extreme minority.
I don't know. I mean, boxing is a sweet science. Is boxing even a sport?
Is the science really sweet, though? That's the
I mean, it's
question.
pretty
When you're trying to
pulverize
somebody, well,
Yeah.
how sweet is that? It's not very sweet at all.
It isn't. It's sour.
Go see The Boss in theaters near you on Friday, April the 5th. Ben Falcone, along with Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Pelt, Peter Dinklage, speaking of Game of
Peter
Thrones.
Dinklage. Oh, what a great guy.
Come on now.
Hilarious.
And Kristen Shaw, Margot Martindale, Kathy Bates. That's
Come on,
some serious
guys.
people right
yeah,
now.
serious, fun people, guys.
Okay. All right, on April the 8th, Friday, in theaters near you. Good to see you.
Great to see you.
You bet. That is Ben Falcone.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern, on Audience.